Our apple juice has about a 3-week shelf life, and what will occur after 3 weeks or sooner, if not properly refrigerated, is it will turn to natural sparkling cider in a matter of a few days once it's out of refrigeration. I started farming when I was about 8 years old. During the apple harvest, we'd always have apples to pick up at the end of the day, and there was always weeds to hoe. But it was during the 70s when I started this little juice business. My father had purchased a cider extracting machine in 1973, and it was in 1974 that I went out and sold our fresh juice to local stores and restaurants in our area. Our process is very, very simple. It's a very old extracting machine known in the business as a rack and rag machine. It has to do with 2 foot by 2 foot rack and using a 4x4 Dacron cloth. The apples are ground in a hammer mill to the consistency of what you might like to see your applesauce at. That pulp is placed into the middle of this frame, and the 4 corners of that Dacron cloth then are placed into the center, forming this pillow of pulp. And that process is repeated 7 times. So you'll have a large stack of these pillows of pulp and a rack in between each pillow. And at that point, it's then pulled underneath a press, and it has about an 1,800 pound capacity, and then out comes the juice. From there, it's pumped in through a coarse filter. The filter is just to get the large pulpy particles out. From there, it goes through a UV light that will sterilize any harmful bacteria that may be in our juice. From that point, it gets pumped into our filling tank. From there, it's bottled. And from there, it's immediately placed into our refrigerator. When you purchase our juice, you'll always see sediment at the bottom of the juice after it sits around for a day or two. Just shake it up, and that'll get it mixed in again. Also, in 1950, a new berry was developed, and it was called an olallieberry berry. And it's another strain of your typical blackberry. It was a cross between a Logan and a young berry. The Logans were grown here for quite some time before the olallieberry. But the olallieberry has a unique flavor. It's a sweet, tart berry. But we found it to make a terrific blackberry pie. And we don't just call it a blackberry pie, we call it an olallieberry pie. And it's really proved itself to be a real favorable berry today. Everything takes place in its own season, and we usually start farming as soon as we're able, as soon as the ground dries up enough, and that's usually late February. And then September comes and it's apple season, and then our apple juice operation continues for 7 months of actual pressing the apples. At that point, we're also freezing juice to put in our freezer to sell late in the season. So we found it to be much more beneficial than trying to make a high quality juice by using apples that have been in the cold storage for 9 to 10 months. It's just too difficult. We are pleased to be boastful about our blue ribbons that we have won at our Santa Cruz County Fair. And I believe it was 3 consecutive years in 1975, 6 and 7. And then after that, well, we just stopped doing it. I mean, after that, but yeah, we did. First place at our Santa Cruz County Fair. You know, that's what we do.